name is Megan Hutson, and I'm a homework consultant representing BJU Press Homeschool. Today we are going to look at the course resources for the secondary math video courses on the Homeschool Hub. So let's jump into the Hub and see what we find. Each of the online video courses have course resources available on the Homeschool Hub. To get to the course resources, you will click on the Details button, and then the Course Resources tab. This will pull up three options: the Teacher Edition, Course Files, and Online Resources. When you click on the Teacher Edition, you will find that the Teacher Edition is split apart into PDF files by chapter. You can download these files to a device, but you cannot print them out. Each chapter of the Teacher Edition will begin with a lesson plan overview, and then it will move into the lessons. As a video course user, you probably won't need this book every day because these are the lessons the teacher would be teaching on the video course. However, if you need more than just the answers on the answer key, you do have the fully worked out solutions in the margins of the lessons. The next option we have is the course files. Many of the secondary math courses have the same titles for the course files. So let's go through them here in the third edition of Pre-Algebra and see what we can find. The first file I see is called the Facilitator Materials Combined. These are answer keys, all strung together for the entire year. I then see a file called Printed Record of Grades. The Hub will keep track of your grades for you, but if you would like to print out a copy so that you can keep track by hand, you do have the option to print out this record of grades and fill them in as you go. I also see a file called Quizzes and Tests. Beginning in 5th grade, all students using a video course will have the option to take tests and quizzes online. If your child would prefer a physical copy of the test, you can print them out from this file. You are also able to print directly from the assessment on the Hub. However, the quizzes and tests in this file are optimized for printing, which means this file will use less paper. There is also a file called Quizzes and Tests Answer Key, a spreadsheet record of grades, which would be the Excel file for what we just saw a second ago as the PDF that you could print out for your record of grades, and then you have a spreadsheet record of grades instructions for how to fill in that grade sheet. I also see a file called Student Materials Combined. These are the handouts that your student would receive in their handout packet, but if you need a clean copy or you would like a second copy, you can reprint them from the Hub. And finally, I see a file called Video Lesson Guide. The Video Lesson Guide can also be called the VLG. You do receive a copy of the VLG in your handout packet, but if you need a second copy, you can print them out from here. Moving into the online resources, I see there's a bunch of Matherdy games. Typically, the online resources are not used by the video teachers. However, they are here for you to use if your child needs more practice. In this particular case, this is a Matherdy game. This is a review that you could use for your student before their chapter test. When you download it, it will download as a PowerPoint presentation. In order to use this game properly, you will want to change your presentation to slideshow mode. So this was a quick look at the third edition of Pre-Algebra. Let's jump into another course now. Let's back up to Math 7, which is the second edition of Fundamentals of Math. You'll notice that this also starts with a Teacher Edition, Course Files, Online Resources, but also has an additional file called Corrections. Occasionally, there may be an error that needs to be corrected in your materials. You can find those errors that need to be corrected here in the Corrections folder. When you open one of the files, it will give you a page number, a section number, and the correction that needs to be made. I recommend looking at this file before you begin teaching the course to make the corrections you need to at the beginning of the year. The course files look very similar to what we saw in the third edition of Pre-Algebra. The only difference I see here is they've added in a file called Instructions in Spanish. This file is the parent instructions for this course translated into Spanish. The online resources are also very similar. You have the Matherdy review games, and then you also have a transparency file and visual file. If you find that you need to reteach any of the information to your child, you do have access to all the visuals in the online resources. The fourth edition of Algebra 1 will have very similar course resources to what we've been seeing in the other courses. You'll have the full teacher edition. You have similarly named course files, but these ones are specific to Algebra 1. You also have your Mathody review games. And finally, our new item is the web links. Downloading the web links file will give you an Excel file that will connect sections of your Algebra 1 lessons to specific quick review videos and practice problems on the afterschoolhelp.com website. These are great for quick reviews throughout the year. The second edition of Pre-Calculus will also look similar to the other video courses for secondary math. You will have the full teacher edition book, your course files, your online resources, and your corrections. And finally, the third edition of Consumer Math will also have similar files to the other secondary math courses: Teacher Edition, course files, and corrections. So these were the highlights of the course resources for the secondary math video courses. If you have other questions, please feel free to reach out to your Homeworks by Precept consultant. We are happy to help you.